You make the speech.
Very well. But I still think you're crazy.
Returning to the box office, Winnie finds Ted, commanding the crowd's attention.
It's an act of God, I tell you.
What do you call an act of God?
Your face, for one. And you won't get your money back on that.
Ted, what do you think you're doing?
Just lending a hand, Mrs. V.
I thought I asked you not to interfere.
I've been delivering a little counterattack. Look, they're on the run.
Well, they can come right back. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we'll give you your money back.
Don't give in now, Mrs. Verloc. I'll stand by
I
you.
prefer you go and stand by that apple stall of yours. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I've been speaking with Mr. Verloc, and since you're all regular patrons and good friends, he's agreed to give you your money back.
There'll be no money back, I tell you. Go on, get off.
Please don't pay any attention to him.
I tell you, you're crazy. I had it all fixed.
Mind your own business.
Of all the obstinate people.
If you don't go away, I'll call the police.
That does not anything now.
Renee, refund the audience their money.
Oh!
Let there be light, and there was.
Thank you for your trouble, Ted. I'm sure you meant well.
Not at all, Mrs. V. I love trouble.
Business back to usual. Mrs. Jones, the Verloc's cook, stops by to see Winnie on her way out.
The vegetables are all set for dishing out, Mrs. Verloc. Now I've got to hurry home. My husband's kidneys are acting up again and I can't leave them long. Your young brother's looking after them.
What, the kidneys?
No, the vegetables!
Good night, Mrs. Jones.
Same to you, Mrs. Verloc.
In the kitchen, Winnie's younger brother Stevie helps prepare dinner as best he can. Alas, he is better at making a mess than a meal.
Oh no, I've done it again!
Oh, Stevie, have you done all this by yourself?
I tried.
Oh, come on now, don't be so modest.
I'm sorry about the plate.
That's all right. Now, why don't you take off my apron and wash your hands for dinner?
Winnie and Stevie bring the rest of dinner to the table where Mr. Verloc is waiting.
Well, we didn't have to refund the audience their money back after all.
How was with that woman, Mrs. Jones, manages to make the cabbage brown?
I'm always telling her you like things green. I'll make you a salad. Stevie, why don't you run over to Ted's and get a nice big head of lettuce?
Round or long? I like long the best.
Whichever's freshest, and tell Ted to charge it to our account. You know, we very nearly wouldn't have been able to afford lettuce had we refunded the audience their money. I don't know why you wanted to pay them back at all.
Anything for a little quiet. I don't like the attention being drawn to us in such a way.
Ted, what are you doing here?
Good evening. Forgive me for butting in on your private affairs. But Stevie didn't appear to know whether he wanted a round, long, square, or oblong lettuce. So I brought a selection. Oh, good evening, Mr. Verloc. So you came home just in time to see the trouble, eh?
I've been in all afternoon, and yeah.
I could swear I saw you come in just about an hour ago.
Well, you're wrong. I did not know anything about this until Winnie woke me. Did I, Winnie?
No, Mr. Verloc was taking a nap when I found him.
Sorry, my mistake, I suppose. Good night, all.
Good night, Ted.
As the Verlocs begin their dinner, we follow Ted through the cinema and to the greengrocer, where he has a word with his boss.
Mind if I pop off early tonight, Gov?
Okay, Ted.
Thank you. Good night.
Ted takes the underground to Scotland Yard to meet with Inspector Talbot, his real boss. You see, Ted is working undercover to keep an eye on Mr. Verloc. Ted fills Talbot in on the latest activities.
I'm sure I saw Verloc return just after the lights had gone out. But later, when I challenged him, he said he hadn't been out at all. His wife confirmed his story.
Well, naturally she would if she's in it. It's like being robbed in a crowd. One man treads on your toe, and while you're arguing with him, his pal picks your pocket.
I don't think she or her little brother are mixed up in this thing.
Can you prove it?
Not yet. But it's the powers up the ladder that are our concern, aren't they? And if Verloc's a puppet, who's pulling his strings?
Yes, but they're the people you and I will never catch. It's the ones they employ are all that we're likely to get. Keep following that lead. And don't rule out his wife or brother. Hollingshead's at your disposal. Have her shadow one and you the other.
Of course, Inspector.
The following morning, Ted is at the greengrocer when Mr. Verloc emerges from the cinema.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Verloc, and where are you off to on this fine morning?
Good morning, Ted. Just off to pick up a new movie for the weekend.
Well, make us a good one then, you know, with lots of intrigue, suspense, and murders. This love stuff makes me sick.
The women like it, though. Good day to you, Ted.
Ted watches Mr. Verloc cross the street. Hollingshead, another Scotland Yard detective, is standing across the street. Ted gives him the signal to follow Mr. Verloc, who boards a bus without realizing he's being followed.
Well, come along now, Stevie. You don't want to be late.
Well, if it isn't Stevie and Mrs. Verloc.
Hiya, Ted. How's your greengrocers?
Ripping and roaring, always a market for greens and things and cabbages and kings.
Oh, Ted, did you hear what he said, sister?
Yes, Ted's a clever one, all right.
Your fruits are lunch today, Ted.
Is that all? How about a nice juicy steak with me? What about it?
I'm all for it.
Good, where shall we go?
I want to go to Simpson's. My friend and uncle took him there once.
Mind your manners, Stevie.
Don't be too hard, Mrs. V. Simpsons it is, and I won't take no for an answer.
Very well, Ted.
Oh boy, Simpsons!
Simpsons it is, off we go.
As Ted, Winnie, and Stevie start for Simpsons, Mr. Verloc's bus has reached the zoo. There he meets with Vladimir, his boss. Hollingshead follows as close as she dares.
Good morning, Vladimir.
Hello, Verloc.
I trust you were satisfied with my work last night. It was just the sort of thing to make people sit up. I think you'll agree I have earned my money. I hope that my asking for it in pound notes.
Obviously you haven't seen today's newspaper, Verloc, or you wouldn't be so proud of yourself. Look at these headlines. Londoners laugh at blackout. When we set out to pick the fear of death in people, it's not helpful to make them laugh. We're not comedians.
It's not my fault if they're such fools.
Londoners are not fools. They laugh because they realize what happened last night was laughable. They did right to laugh this time.
What do you mean?
You'll get your money when you've earned it.
I don't follow.
My dear Verloc, I once read a sign in Piccadilly Circus calling it the center of the world. I think you better pay a visit there tomorrow and leave a small parcel in the coat room at the underground station.
What sort of parcel?
A parcel of fireworks.
Fireworks? No. I'm not interested in being connected with anything that means loss of life. You'll have to get someone else. I won't touch it.
Very well, Verloc, if you think you're so well off.
You know I'm not.
All right then. And if you're too fussy to do it yourself, surely you can find someone else to do it for you.
Perhaps.
There's an address on the slip of paper. Go and see this man. A nice old gentleman, and he makes lovely fireworks.
I'll try and see him.
And don't forget tomorrow, busy day in Piccadilly Circus with lots of people enjoying themselves, unaware of feeling safe and secure.
You want me to come and report?
Thanks, no. If you're successful, it won't be necessary. Tomorrow they must not laugh.
Ted, Winnie, and Stevie arriving at Simpson's Restaurant, one of the finest in all of London.
Have you ever been here at Simpson's before, Ted?
No, never.
Well, this is very expensive, isn't it?
Yes, it looks it, doesn't it?
Oh, I've got a pound note if you want one.
It's all right. Now, Stevie, setting the steak aside for a moment, we have here before us oysters, caviar, smoked salmon, roast, fried, or boiled sole, roast saddle of mutton, Kentish chicken pudding, boiled silverside.
Hi! I think Stevie will have a nice poached egg on toast. And I'll have a mixed salad myself.
What, a poached egg here at Simpson's? Why, that's enough to make the roast beef turn in its gravy. Waiter!
Yes, sir. Your order?
Sirloin for 3, please.
Very good, sir. Right away.
When did you come over from America, Mrs. Verloc?
About a year ago. Business wasn't too good over there.
That's funny. People usually go to the States because business isn't too good over here. How are things here now? Not too good?
Not terribly.
I hadn't noticed you turning people away. It's hard to make a one-man business pay these days unless you're running a sideline. Has Mr. Verloc a sideline?
No. And we're quite satisfied with things as they are.
Just one happy little family.
Just one happy little family. Mr. Verloc's very kind to Stevie.
And that means a lot to Stevie's sister.
It means everything.
Here we are.
No facts, sir, as usual. You haven't been in for a while, but I never forget.
Do I look like I don't like fact?
What's the big idea?
What idea?
Huh, you said you'd never been here before, but the waiter obviously knew who you were.
Come to think of it, there's a mystery about most people. For example, what goes on in that cinema of yours after hours?
Deeds of darkness.
Does your husband go on mysterious journeys?
Oh, he does. Wearing false whiskers.
Aha, that means there's another woman in his life.
If only you knew him.
What's the joke?
Oh, Mr. Verloc is the quietest, most harmless person in the whole world.
I'm finished. What's for dessert?
Oh, Stevie.
Meanwhile, Mr. Verloc visits the address he was given by Vladimir, which just so happens to be that of a bird shop. Behind the counter stands the proprietor, who goes by the name of the Professor. You know, the kind old man who makes, shall we say, fireworks? At the moment, he's getting a rather earful from an unsatisfied customer.
But I can't understand, madam. This is one of my best songbirds. It sang all day before you purchased it. Perhaps in a few days it will settle down.
Nothing will make it settle down. I've tried everything. Whistling to it, clapping my hands, frying bacon. It's no use. It just sits there and makes me look silly.
That's not the bird's fault, I assure you, madam.
Isn't it?
Well, perhaps it's resting. Have you thought of that, madam?
Resting my eye. Here's your bird back, and I'll have my 2 and 9, please. And I'll take a canary for company.
Very well, madam. Here you are. Do come and call on us again.
We shall see about that. Good day.
And how may I help you, sir?
Are you the professor?
Ah, yes. You want something from my other department, don't you? Of course you do. Follow me this way.
The Professor leads Mr. Verloc into the back room.
Let's see what I might have for you in my cupboard.
Everything there looks pretty harmless.
Oh, you are right, my friend. But if I were to mix, say, a little tomato sauce with some strawberry jam, well then I shouldn't want to be any place near.
Very clever.
Yes, thank you. Now I gather from our mutual friend that tomorrow is the day and the hour 3.
But how do I start the mechanism?
You leave that to me. By the time you receive it, everything will have been set in motion. You seem nervous. Don't be afraid. Say to yourself that there's one who envies you.
Envies me?
I've been a fighter always until now. But alas, I'm no longer wanted on the front line. I must keep the fighters supplied. I will deliver the package to you tonight.
Very well. Good day to you, sir.
And you, comrade.
Following lunch with Winnie and Stevie, Ted makes his way to Scotland Yard to update Talbot on the latest activities.
What luck with Mrs. Verloc?
She knows nothing, sir. Nothing at all.
What makes you think so?
She has a straight answer for everything.
What about Mr. Verloc?
I'm not certain, but if he is mixed up in this thing, he's certainly not giving himself away.
Hollingshead's been following him all morning. He went to the zoo, evidently by appointment, where he met with a foreign individual. He then proceeded to a bird shop at Islington.
A bird shop in Islington?
Doesn't mean much to me either. But he had a lengthy discussion with the proprietor. We'll keep on that lead.
Of course, Inspector. Where is Verloc now?
He's returned to the cinema. You can meet Hollingshead there.